What do you make of Ryan Kerrigan's signing in Philadelphia from Washington football teamer to Philadelphia Eagle, and how you see the NFC East playing out? And the thing I find so fascinating about the NFC East, very rare does a schedule release actually intensify a conversation about a division. It seemed Washington football team in particular finishes all 5 games of their regular season schedule in division. It is something else. That division is going to be totally up for grabs entering December. I'll give you the floor on the Kerrigan signing and what you think about this division.
Yeah, the Kerrigan signing is a good, solid signing by Philly. I don't think we're expecting Ryan Kerrigan from the last, 5 years ago in Washington. Josh Sweat is probably going to be their main guy in Philadelphia as far as a pass rusher, but Kerrigan's certainly going to be able to come in and be a situational pass rusher and just add another body to their defensive line. Philly's actually done a quietly solid job of kind of putting together a decent roster because 3 months ago it was a bad football team talent-wise. So I think it's like a good, solid signing. I'm not going to make a huge big deal about it. The NFC East is going to be really fascinating to me because, there's so many ifs attached, or there's a giant if attached to each team when it comes to, okay, who am I going to peg to win it? Like, if you told me Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to look like Fitzy of last year, give me Washington. I think they got a chance to have like a top 3 defense and the whole NFL. Give me Washington. If Daniel Jones takes a relatively big step in year 3 and Saquon comes back and looks like Saquon, well, I like the Giants then. Really good because their defense is going to be really, really impressive. If Dallas's defense is an absolute embarrassment and a debacle, well, Dallas is intriguing then. But Dallas's defensive line gave up 3.5 yards per carry before touching the ball carrier last year. So, that's got to take we need to see a Josh Allen type of jump from that defense. If Jalen Hurts becomes a player that is even exceeding expectations, then I'll take Philly. So that's why I sit here today and I go, all right, if I was a betting person, give me the Washington football team. I think they're the best football team. I think they're the best coached football team in that division. Second, candidly, I'm taking the Giants. I think the Giants are going to be a lot better than people expect, and I love their defensive coordinator. Then I'll take Dallas, and then I'll take Philly.
I know this is the lowest of low-hanging fruit, and I love Jason Garrett. That is my way of saying with all due respect. So many people are like Garrett with Daniel Jones. They're like, this is a big year for Daniel Jones. I mean, the owner, John Mara, has already come out and say, we think this is a playoff-type caliber player, that this is the moment like when Eli started taking off, and that this is the guy that now has Kenny Golladay to go along with Saquon and an offensive line that appears to be built and ready for this moment. That is an underreported conversation, I think, right now. And you do think, though, that the formula is there for Big Blue?
I absolutely do. First of all, they got some skill players now, like Evan Ingram, Kyle Rudolph. Obviously, you mentioned the addition of Kenny Golladay. Shep is a really good slot. And then Kadarius Toney. So I called a couple Florida games for ESPN because doing college football on the weekends. And doing Florida games, 2 guys just massively stood out for their offense. One, Kyle Pitts, who we've talked about, and 2 was Kadarius Toney. And yes, he did remind you a little bit of Percy Harvin, probably a little bit more of Tyler Lockett for me, where it's like think about this. If you're Jason Garrett and you're the Giants and you're getting Saquon Barkley back healthy, right? This is assuming he's healthy. I mean, if I get 70 offensive snaps a game, Kadarius Toney and Saquon Barkley are getting 30+ of them. You feel really good about that because those guys, the NFL game right now is about touches in space. It's not about the old school balance of run versus pass. It's touches in space. And if I can get those 2 guys, touches in space 30 times a game, Daniel Jones' job is going to be really easy. And I don't care how many times I have to do it or how different I have to do it with him. And so while the offensive line is still a little question markish for me, and I know Dave Gettleman says that they have higher expectations than the national media when it comes to the offensive line, that you still got to go prove it to me at that side or at that aspect of the line of scrimmage. But Daniel Jones' job is relatively easy this year. I'd say the two things for him to prove that, or to take this team to the playoffs, which he should, Rich, which he should, and two, prove that he's the guy for the future. One, stop with the stupidity. Like in those moments where he's got to get rid of 12 plays a season, the stupid 12 plays where you're like, dude, why are you panicking with the football in that moment? Stop. That is stupid. You're too smart to be stupid with the ball in that moment. Okay? And two is there's going to be, again, 10 or 12 plays this season where the play doesn't work. Okay? Defense wins their rep. Show me you can be a guy who goes above the X's and O's. So we're talking 24 plays, right? 24 to 30 plays this year where Daniel Jones takes this team to the playoffs and Daniel Jones kind of silences a lot of critics.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.